Adafio, and I think most everybody knows who Paul Peterson is, but now we're going to just maybe get in and dig a little deeper since there's plenty more about you that we could learn.
Sure.
Can you tell me a little bit about who Paul Peterson is, what your job entails, and then how long have you been with Adafio Technology Partners?
Sure. So I've currently been with Adafio for 18 years. Came to Adafio from Axiom. And I have a couple of roles with Adafio currently. I'm the team lead for the projects team, which is means exactly that. So new projects or for new clients or existing clients come through. Most of the time that will come through my team and we will devise a plan and take action. The other one is internal admin team, which handles Adapio's infrastructure, which also includes some members of the projects team as well. And then thirdly, I'm kind of beta testing out a technical sales team member. So kind of like a liaison with the sales team between them and infrastructure, so to speak. Plus, so since I've been here so many years, it's just, made sense to kind of plug into that role a little bit and see where a technical sales role may benefit the sales team. I'm kind of beta testing that right now as well.
Wonderful. So with the number of team members on your project, how many are there currently that you lead?
I believe there's 9, I believe.
hmm So tell me, with those three positions, which is a lot to juggle in and of itself, but I guess after 18 years, you've managed to kind of find your routine. What is some of the things you love most about your job?
Yeah, one of the main things I love about it is leading and working with a solid group of people.
hmm
I mean, all the way around. I mean, the vast experience that all of our team members, and not just engineers, but in all departments, is just overwhelming. It's awesome. I also love, what every day brings a new set of challenges. There is not one day that's the same, and you never get bored. If you do, then you come see me. I'll find some more work for you. But anyway, it's that as well, and meeting clients and helping them overcome, their technical challenges and meeting their goals as well, if not exceeding them. So that's what I like most about my job.
Yeah, you come in with a very can-do attitude, from what I understand, and it's that I'm sure sets a lot of our clients at ease when they have something that they just can't truly articulate or understand the end goal of how they want to get there. But with your team and able to go in and say, well, we've never done anything like this before, but it doesn't mean it can't be done. That's a great attitude to have. And it also, I think, grows your neuroplasticity in your brain. You guys are just as evolving as the technology that we install. What's
Yeah,
going on inside. You can't necessarily replicate it.
it's difficult. It's almost as if you have to, when you go from working for a regular company to an MSP environment, you literally have to learn to train your brain to work in a multifaceted environment.
Mhm.
And that's not easy. And that's where it kind of stumps a lot of people when they come work for an MSP. But that's the main thing that you have to do and it's challenging. It's easier to know you've got a full crew behind you with expertise that is just phenomenal, and
Mhm.
being able to reach out to those people, and it gives you self-confidence to know that it's 1 o'clock in the morning and I'm stuck in a situation, I need help. You pick up the phone, you call somebody, they're going to answer it, and they'll be right there in the weeds with you. And that's a special kind of thing. You don't see that very often. uh,
No.
yeah, that's another one of our great things about Adafio as well. Yeah.
Do you think, Paul, you're a veteran, right? Were
Yes,
you in the Army?
I was.
How many
I,
years?
I spent 7 years in the military, 4 years at Fort Bragg as an airborne ranger. I left Fort Bragg and went to Anchorage or Fort Richardson, Alaska, and I was there for 3 years. And then after that, I decided to get out.
Yeah. Would you say, though, that working in the military and in that team environment has helped you in some ways with with what you do now and maybe help leading this vast number of people? That somehow that does play a part?
It's a huge part because you've got every walks of life in the military, different personalities, different parts of the country, some of them from different countries. You have to be able to work and lead people in that type of environment. The biggest thing I can say about that is the camaraderie you have amongst each other.
Yeah.
It is really a brother and sister kind of thing, especially when you go into a conflict, which I was in Desert Storm. It's like everybody just turned a switch, and it didn't matter who you were, how you were, what your background is. None of that matters anymore.
Mhm.
You're over there and you're in a wartime situation. It's scary. You just learn that the only people you got are the people to your left and right and behind you.
Yeah.
So it really forms a brother sisterhood.
Yeah, a sense of trust, and then also that you can allow yourself to put things in perspective.
Yep.
That maybe the problem you're dealing with isn't as big of a problem as you might think it is when you can actually like look at the whole picture and then maybe start to minimize and go at it more in a strategic way. I've always admired anybody in the military and think that it's undervalued and underrated in terms of those that are getting into it. I would love for my kids and a lot of children to experience the ability to know that they have the wherewithal inside themselves because I think it brings out all of the specialties and skill set in a way that you wouldn't maybe otherwise know you have because they challenge you so much.
Oh, they do. And that's the Army is the reason why I'm here in this field anyway. Just happened to stumble into it. So if it wasn't for the military, I don't know what I would be doing right now. I could be bagging groceries,
Which would be fine, but
which
it's
is
just it cultivates and empowers a certain sense of confidence that we otherwise somewhat can be aimless and not really know what we're capable of. But the military kind of is like, oh yeah, you can do this.
yes. And there's never a no for an answer. You figure it out. That's what you have to do.
With the vast career and experience that you've had, do you have any advice or messaging, a mantra that you live by?
I do. I've been kind of trained by the first IT generation, if you will, and
Hmm.
military and other places, Axiom. Everyone fails. There is no one person that never fails. We all fail. It's how you get up and carry yourself afterwards and move forward. That's the important part. Failing is a natural, it's going to happen, but it's how you get up and carry yourself and continue on. That's the most important part. It's never
Hmm.
give up. If there's challenges, meet them where they are and move forward. It's okay to look back to know where you came from, but
Yes.
forward so you have a vision and a goal and you go get it.
Yeah. Never live in the past, but never forget it either.
That's right.
And I have a Winston Churchill plaque that I carry with me, and it says, never, ever, ever quit. It's
Yep.
good to have that, just a message that you can continue to look at on days that you just feel like it's like, I just don't know if I can do it anymore.
That's right. You just got it. You got to focus in that area, and that within itself, just all the things around you will just come into play. It really
Yeah.
will. Sometimes it doesn't seem like it, but just keep moving.
Based on the fact that you've been in this career for over 18 years, it seems just like so much has changed. What would you do if you weren't doing this besides bagging groceries?
Yeah, I would probably be retired from the military,
Hmm.
possibly, or a lifelong dream of mine was to work for the DEA, undercover and things like
Oh,
that.
yeah.
I come from a police force background. My
Hmm.
parents and my grandfather and all them, and they were military as well. So it's just natural that I kind of picked up in those areas growing up, and sometimes forensics science.
Oh, yes.
I wanted to get involved in that as well. So that's probably what I would be doing, I would imagine.
I guess with what you're doing now with is similar in the sense of forensics, like you're going in and digging in and seeing things from a different angle that the regular person wouldn't always see. How is this network and system set up and how can it be improved or things that may have overlooked completely. That could be a considerable breach or a problem with the whole company's system or infrastructure.
Oh, it is. I mean, you're diagnosing things all the time. Doctors
Hmm.
diagnose. Engineers are kind of the same way. I mean, things are going to break. It's knowledge, consistency, and gathering information from people around you that will allow you to overcome whatever it is that you feel like you're failing at. And that goes back to the saying of, you're going to fail. It's just how you get up from it and how you forward with it is what makes who you really are. That all ties together.
Well, you mentioned living in Alaska. Do you have you had any desire to go back? Is that a place that you look upon fondly?
You know, I would move there in a heartbeat. But you either hate it or you love it. There's no in between. It's very, very cold. 8 months out of the year, the sun. You go from 4 hours of sunlight per day to 23 hours, and
Wow.
so you have earthquakes there, although not.
Really?
And
Wow.
they sound like trains coming. I was in one, it was
Dang.
like 4.6 or something like that. We had our windows open, but we have tinfoil on the windows during the day. So, or at night anyway, you keep them on there so that way it blocks the sun and you can try to sleep. But, my dogs were barking one time. I was listening and it sounded like a freight train coming in the background. So I stood up to look out the window, and about that time it hit where we were, and I was literally bouncing, across the. It was really, really funny. Of course, everybody in the building
Uh,
was out and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just trying to have some fun with it. I thought it was kind of fun.
yeah,
So,
I feel like it's a vulnerable experience when the literally the foundation that we depend on is shaky, you
yep.
know.
But yeah, it's just if you're an outdoors person, hiking, fishing, hunting, any
Mhm.
of that, it's just a dream come true. It just really in the nature. The only thing is that I know Arkansas complains about mosquitoes. They are 3 times as worse in Alaska than they are even in the rice fields around Arkansas. So it's pretty
I've
intense.
heard that. My brothers spent many summers there, working at camps for kids, and they called the state bird the mosquito.
Hmm.
They were like, there's no joke. This is nothing to kid around with. It's a serious issue. They're huge and they're annoying and they're everywhere. Yeah, that would be like, what do you take? What kind of vitamin or repellent do you put on that you would absolutely not live without for that
A
place?
lot of off and nets to go around your face and things like that.
Jeez. What do you like to do when you're not working?
I like spending time with my family and friends, whether it be football games,
Mhm.
baseball games, hanging out on the weekends. Of course, I have a farm, so there's a lot of work that has to go into here. So we spend more time on the farm and at rodeos for my daughter than we do just about anything else. She rodeos, so that's just about every weekend during the summer.
Yes, that's impressive.
Yeah, she tore ACL last year, so she hasn't been in it for a whole year. So now she's getting back into it, and your horse has to be retrained all over again. So she's been working on that and getting back into it again. So we love watching her, race and barrels and poles and goat tying and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Do you guys have lots of horses? What do you have at your farm?
We did have three at one time. Now we're down to just one and a donkey. So
Oh, that's right.
yeah, yeah, I have a donkey, and a lot of people ask me, "Why do you have a donkey?" Well, number one, he's cool. It's cool. I got the donkey because they're protectors.
Oh, are
So,
they?
and out here we have bobcats, and there's rumors of panthers or mountain lions. I haven't
Uh-huh.
seen one. I've seen bobcats. I've heard screams that
Yeah,
I'm not
there's
sure what
creepy
they were.
screams. Mhm.
Mhm. We had some neighbors down the road that their horse got killed, and they think it was by a mountain lion or a panther.
Yeah,
So,
well,
so
that's
that's
a great call out for having a donkey. I mean, and can you tell me his name or her name?
I just call him Donkey. Uh,
You got to
that's
share a picture. Do you have a picture of donkey?
I don't at the moment, but
Okay. I
I'll
really would, yeah,
all right.
I love horses. I love ponies and donkeys. So please send that along. I think it would be worth everybody having a picture of that particular pet in your family. Tell me what's one, well, that's a fun fact that you own a donkey, but would you expand on another fun fact that you might want to that you'd be open to sharing?
Sure, it's kind of an embarrassing one, but it's something more recent. So I turned, on the day that I turned 50, I was outside on my deck. It's about 4 feet, maybe a little taller, plus or minus, and I accidentally fell off of the deck because we don't have any rails on it yet. And it was really, really dark at night. Come to find out, I fractured my right hip in 3 places after going to the doctor. So,
Unbelievable, Paul. So how does one fix a fractured hip?
well, luckily, the my doctor told me I dodged a bullet because where the fractures were not at the joint.
Thank
So,
God. Okay.
yeah. So they just basically said, "Don't fall again. It'll heal on its
And
own." So,
and it'll heal on its own. Okay. That's yeah, that's a wake up call to a half a century old, right? Like, okay, we got to pay better attention to the steps in front of me.
oh, and I get made fun of all the time. When I'm carrying something or which I'm not supposed to, they say, "Don't break a hip." So I'm getting it from family, friends, and everyone. It is what it is.
It is what it is. You can laugh it off. It seems like a great attitude to have. I know we're almost at time, so I'll get to our last question, and then I want to end it with one more. But everybody at Adafio has a story for what brought them to this company, and I would love to hear yours if you can recall that time almost 2 decades ago.
It was a while ago. So yeah, I joined Dodafio to start something new. At my last job, I was just kind of stuck. And there were during that time there were a lot of layoffs. So I just took it upon myself to try something out new and try to go work for an MSP. I really didn't know what it was and tried to understand what Adopio did and everything else, even though it was a
Yeah,
pretty much a startup at that time. There were only 3 Adopio employees from an engineering standpoint at that time. And after spending some time with them and the stakeholders, I knew that we had something special. And given all their client base, they were accountants, accounting firm, and 18 years later, the original 4 are still here.
impressive.
It really is. It kind of compares to the military. There's just a real bonding there. We've all been through a lot together over the course of the years, and clients and issues and things of that nature. And it's really special to still have, and a lot of our employees are still here. It's not just the original 4, but it's a lot. It's a lot of people. Uh,
Right.
and that tells something about the company. So they have the same thoughts that everyone else does.
And that leads me to my last question is when somebody's looking to go and apply for a job or go into IT, is there anything in particular they need to be looking for, or what kind of soft skills and other skills do you think or would you recommend?
So, the biggest part of IT is trying to figure out what area that you want to specialize in. There's literally 1,000 different areas within the IT. So, the good thing about coming to work for an MSP like Adafio is you get exposed to probably 999 of those 1,000 things. Where you
Hmm.
go work for a normal company, you're basically doing 1 or 2 jobs and that's it. And you stay focused on just one or two. Here, it's 1,000. You get exposed to anything and everything, and you're able to figure out exactly what interests you and motivates you the most. That's why it's so important in a good way to come and work for a company like Adopio and an MSP. That's kind of my advice. Come in with an open mind and the ability to learn. Everything else is provided for you.
That's wonderful. Well, that's a great way to close out our session. I can't tell you how much I appreciate our time together and the honor that I get to bestow the fact that you are the October Associate Spotlight during Techtober. No better person to have that acknowledgement than you.
Thank
So,
you so much. I appreciate it.
yeah. Well, have a great rest of your week. I hope that you don't run into any too many pitfalls of any kind.
Neither. I need to stay healthy.
Yes, you do. All right, Paul. Take care. Thanks so much. Bye.
Bye.